In a beautiful meadow, where the grass swayed gently in the breeze and colorful flowers dotted the landscape, there lived a very intelligent and slim rabbit named Rob. But what really set Rob apart was his insatiable curiosity and his burning desire to learn about science. He was always asking questions about how things worked and why things happened the way they did. One sunny day, Rob gathered his friends in a clearing near the babbling brook. Rob cleared his throat and announced, "Friends, I have a dream. I want to learn science." Leo burst out laughing, slapping his knee. "Science? Rob, you're a rabbit. What do you need science for?" Ben tilted his head curiously. "But Rob, how are you going to learn science out here in the meadow?" Zoe, always supportive, smiled warmly. "I think it's a wonderful idea, Rob. Science is fascinating." The squirrel bounced up and down excitedly. "Oh yes, maybe you'll invent a super carrot that never runs out." Laya stroked her chin thoughtfully. "It's an ambitious goal, Rob. We should make a plan to help you achieve it." "I may be a rabbit," he said, puffing out his chest, "but I'm a rabbit with dreams. And I'm going to find a way to learn science no matter what." From that day on, Rob dedicated himself to his goal. He observed the plants growing, watched the clouds move across the sky, and even tried to count all the stars at night, though he usually fell asleep before he got very far. But Rob was determined. He gathered leaves and flowers to study their structures. He collected rainwater and acorn caps to examine it closely. He even tried to build a makeshift telescope using a hollow log and some dewdrops. It didn't work very well, but points for creativity. Every day, Rob would meet with his friends to brainstorm new ways to learn science. They would gather in their favorite spot by the brook, sitting in a circle and sharing ideas. "What if we build a laboratory?" suggested Ben one day, flapping his wings excitedly. "Out of what?" asked Leo, rolling his eyes. "Twigs and mud?" "Actually," said Laya thoughtfully, "we could use leaves for paper to write down our observations." Zoe clapped her hooves together. "And we could use berries to make different colors of ink." The squirrel bounced up and down. "Or we could use acorns as little beakers for experiments." Rob's eyes lit up with each suggestion. "These are all great ideas," he exclaimed. "Let's get started right away." They collected large, flat stones to use as tables and smaller ones as chairs. They gathered leaves of all shapes and sizes for their paper and crushed different berries to make colorful inks. Acorns and nutshells became their scientific equipment, and they even managed to create a sundial using a stick and some pebbles. As the days went by, Rob's enthusiasm for science began to rub off on his friends. They studied the life cycle of butterflies, watching in wonder as caterpillars spun cocoons and emerged as beautiful winged creatures. They learned about plant growth by planting seeds and observing how different amounts of water and sunlight affected them. They even tried to understand weather patterns by tracking cloud formations and wind directions. One afternoon, as they were all gathered in their lab, Rob had an idea. "Friends," he said, his voice trembling with excitement, "I think we should share what we've learned with the rest of the meadow. A science fair," exclaimed Ben, flapping his wings. "We could show everyone our experiments," added Zoe with a smile. "And teach them about what we've discovered," said Leah, already planning the event in her head. Even Leo nodded in agreement. "It could be fun," he admitted. "Plus, I've got some pretty cool tricks I could show off." And so the friends set about organizing the first ever Meadow Science Fair. They worked tirelessly, preparing displays and demonstrations of all they had learned. Rob practiced his presentations over and over, determined to share his love of science with everyone. On the day of the fair, animals from all over the meadow gathered to see what Rob and his friends had prepared. There were gasps of wonder as butterflies emerged from their cocoons, oohs and ahs at the colorful chemical reactions in acorn beakers, and excited chatter as Rob explained the principles of gravity using pine cones and leaves. As the sun began to set on their successful science fair, Rob gathered his friends around him. "Thank you all," he said, his eyes shining with gratitude. "I couldn't have done this without you. You helped make my dream come true." Leo patted Rob on the back. "We should be thanking you, Rob. You showed us how exciting science can be." "Yeah," chirped Ben. "Who knew learning could be so much fun?" Zoe nodded in agreement. "And look how many new friends we've made. Everyone loved the science fair." Zia bounced excitedly. "Can we do this again next week?" "Pretty please," Lai smiled. "Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I think we can definitely plan for another fair soon." As they all headed home that evening, tired but happy, Rob couldn't stop smiling. He may have started out as just a slim rabbit in a blue tracksuit with a dream, but now he was a real scientist with a whole meadow full of fellow science enthusiasts. And so, every day after that, Rob and his friends continued to meet, to learn, to experiment, and to share their love of science with everyone in the meadow. Because Rob had shown them all that with curiosity, determination, and good friends by your side. Even the wildest dreams can come true, even for a rabbit in a meadow who wants to learn science. Rob and his friends are happy, because they're learning something new every day. Together, you can achieve your dream. Rob and his friends enthusiastically have fun in the beautiful meadow. Funny stories happen every day in the meadow. They have moments of fun and learning. Always together. The fun never stops because there's always something new to learn. Tomorrow the fun continues in a new adventure full of learning and friendship, because the meadow is a magic place. Join our adventures and subscribe to the channel for more fun. Thanks for being there and joining us on our adventures.